The, the Great Gatsby is a 1925 novel by the American writer F. Scott Fitzgerald. This story is set in the Jazz Age, the 1920s, on Long Island, New York. The novel talks about Nick Carraway, who is the narrator of this story, and his interaction with Jay Gatsby, who is like the center of the whole story. The extra that I'm gonna talk about is the scene where Carraway is entering to Gatsby's party, where just a second after he entered to the place, he noticed that he was the only one invited by Gatsby, because previously he received a handwritten letter from the mysterious Gatsby, while everybody else just decided to go into that party. Make Carraway wonder why everybody else just could step into that party and he was the only invited to it. Also, it's imperative to point out the importance of this scene because it's when Gatsby and Carraway met for the first time. The description of this scene gives us a representation of what were the 20s and their singular lifestyle. Where everything was extravagant and lots of people lived for those kind of parties that were big and a disaster, and also it gives us the context in which Gatsby lived and the area where the story takes place. From the narration of Nick Carraway, we can infer the amusement of him to this kind of people and events, and apart from the fact that he could be considered special in that place, because he was the only guest invited by the owner of the house, by Gatsby, no? Well, from the text, Carraway is describing us how things work in those places and events, but not from a point of view where he already knew this kind of behavior. He is discovering this new world at the same time with us, making, where we can notice the excitement of Carraway to this kind of events and people, which some facts are surprising for him and only gave him more and more doubts about Gatsby, which could be concluded that this exactly was the purpose of this scene, that the author with this scene making us intrigued about how Gatsby was, how he achieved all this success, to have this kind of party and this kind of lifestyle, and this was only the start of the big question of the story, and the one that Carraway tried to solve since the beginning of the story, like who was Gatsby.